regular council meeting, April 9th, 2015. Hey, you there? All right. Mr. Manning, would you mind leading us in our invocation and pledge to the flag? Everyone would please stand.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you now, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for another beautiful day, Father. Thank you for each one who's come out here to support us tonight, Father. Thank you for each one, the council, mayor, vice mayor. But Lord, most of all, we thank you for being here with us. Help us to make the right choice and decision. In your name, amen. Amen. I pledge the flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
We can have a roll call, please.
Mayor Lambert.
Here.
Vice Mayor Bradley.
Here.
Councilmember Cagle.
Here.
Councilmember Manning.
Here.
Councilmember Sewell.
Here.
City Manager Hyde.
Here.
City Attorney Norton.
Here. I trust everyone has had opportunity to review the items of the consent agenda, which would be the minutes from the March 26th agenda work session, as well as the minutes from the March 26th regular council meeting. We will entertain a motion. Motion to approve. Second. We have a motion to approve and a second. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Bradley.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Manning.
Yes.
Councilmember Sewell.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes. At this time, we will entertain communication from citizens. We have on our list, first up, Mike Price. You're going to have opportunity.
I just jumped the gun.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Better safe than sorry, right? Okay. All right. Next on the list, we have Jim Cave, 406 Pine Bluff Drive. If you'll come forward.
Push the little button.
It's on, it's on.
It's on. It's good. On April 1st, I sent an email to the sheriff of Catoosa County. Because shooting continues to take place on the property just across the state line. I think that most people realize that is somewhat dangerous. And I know a number of years ago when we had our house painted that one of the painters went around with his little screwdriver and got bullets out of my house. So obviously it comes from over there. It's owned by D. Brown, and he is a solid citizen of these streets. So according to my complaint, that the only state law that applies to this situation is if Mr. Brown makes a complaint of people shooting on his property. That doesn't prevent us from being endangered by people who want to shoot, or bullets that ricochet, or whatever. But I realize that there's probably a very slim chance of getting Mr. Brown to do anything about this. So the interesting thing about the reply I got was that I received a copy of Catoosa County ordinances, which I was really glad to get because I had not seen this. And the application to them is totally opposite or different from the shooting problem. You may remember several years ago that we collected over 300 signed petitions from people about the noise from the racetrack. And I know that a request was made by this commission to Catoosa County Commissioners to try to do something about the noise situation coming from the racetrack, particularly if they would use a different type of mufflers, or they would have to use different kind of mufflers. And nothing came of that, unfortunately. This past Tuesday, generally every Tuesday, unless it's raining, there was one individual whom I did not know, takes his race car up to the track at any given time of the day, and he goes around and around and around and around and around until he runs out of gas, and then he gets more gas, and he goes around and around and around. Well, this past Tuesday, he went from 11 o'clock to a little bit after 9 o'clock, Tuesday night. But we put up with that, we citizens who live within earshot of that. And then I was surprised that last night he came back about 8:30 or 8:15. And he went to about 10 o'clock last night. So I know he's not to be paying rent to use the track. He's got to be paying for the light bill because it was dark. And I know that I'm not the only person in East Ridge that would like to have a peace and quiet when they come home from work or sit down to dinner or whatever else the person would like to do when they get back home. Nuisance, according to Catoosa County, ordinance 11.3.5 is defined as anything that causes hurt, inconvenience, or damage to another, which tends to annoy the community or injure the health of citizens in general. Section 51.1, nuisance. Anything that causes hurt, inconvenience, or damage to another, or any sound or vibration that is of such character, intensity, and duration that is detrimental to the reasonable comfort, health, welfare, or life of any individual shall constitute a nuisance. Section 51-2, illustrations of different examples of nuisances. All noise which may annoy or inhibit others in the reasonable enjoyment or use of their property, or any noise that is unreasonably loud, disturbing, or necessary. Any bass sound that causes vibration or rattles adjoining properties or homes. Section 51.3. It shall be unlawful for any person, firm, corporation, or other entity to cause, permit, maintain, or allow the creation or maintenance of a nuisance as defined herein. The racetrack, ladies and gentlemen, is violating its own county ordinance. And we've put up with it ever since I've been in East Ridge over 25 years. We know they go over there on Saturday night, they do their thing, and everybody goes home. But for a gentleman or more than, let me state that, any person who can go over there, or persons, anytime they want to, and make as much noise as they want to, for as long as they want to, and bother the citizens, not only of East Ridge, but North Georgia. That ain't right. Usually moving out. Well, here's their own ordinances. And if anything can be done, I would like to see this commission send notice to the owner of the track that he cannot let people go there anytime they want to and run on the racetrack. He makes good money. He spent a lot of money over there improving that track. I understand he's done the same thing in Bradley County. And I don't think the citizens of East Ridge are trying to stop the racetrack from working or running or operating. Okay, we're sitting tired of the moment.
Right. Thank you very much. And I will personally attest to the fact that we're running last night, and it was very loud. I had company over at the house till about 10 o'clock, about when they decided they would wrap up over there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So it's difficult, especially when there doesn't seem to be a lot of rhyme or reason to when it's going to happen. And so I certainly can appreciate what you're saying. So thank you very much. All right. Anyone who wants a copy? that was all, that was it as far as folks who had signed in for citizen communication. So we will move on to communication from council members. Mr. Mayor.
Nothing this time. There was some there to come in before you made it out, to sign the paper.
Okay.
There is some here. Now,
Well, I mean, did anyone miss the announcements? Okay. Mr. Sewell?
Just want to say that, they've got the fence finished, looks like it, Camp York looks real nice.
Yeah, like it does.
Good job.
Anything? Mr. King?
Yes, sir. Back on March the 8th, we had Mr. Ingram come here with application to start the speed down on Clemens Road. Well, this week, the sign shop, they went down and installed stop signs, stop bar. They've done a fine job on it, and I just like to congratulate them on getting it done.
Okay. Very good. And I think you mentioned to me you went by there the day they put them up. Very good. Very good. Do you have anything else?
No.
Okay. Mr. Gray?
I have a couple of things. First of all, exit 1, southbound, where you get off there at Wally's and turn to the right. I think we need to do one of two things. We either need to take, personally, I think we need to take the turn right on red only signs down, because quite honestly, nobody is really abides by them. I sat there today, there were 11 cars, paid no more attention to those signs than the man in the moon. And all except for one didn't even stop. They just kind of kept on going. So I think if we don't have the authority to take those signs down ourselves, I would like to put in a request to TDOT to take those signs down. Because I think it's a law that is not really being enforced, so therefore, or no one's paying any attention to it either. So I think we should probably just do away with it. We didn't have an issue with turning right on red there before, so I don't see why we do now. Number 2, I think we discussed this at the last meeting, but honestly, I don't recall. We've talked quite a bit about the capital improvement fund and the monies. You guys help me out with my memory here, did we all make the decision to put half of the money from the sale of the pool property in the capital improvement fund? And did we discuss creating a separate fund for the renovations at McBride and depositing half of that in there? Or is that something that just me and the city manager, or me and the mayor, or me and someone discussed? Did we discuss it here, or did we talk about it?
I think what happened here is we took the money out of the proceeds from the sale of the pool. We took enough money out to cover the retail strategies agreement, and then everything else went to the capital improvement fund. Is that?
Less the first year cost, which was left in the capital, which was left in the general fund, and that remaining just over $500,000. In the budget amendment that's being proposed tonight, move those funds to the capital improvement fund, which those funds can be appropriated for capital projects, including economic development projects.
Okay.
Decision
But
made now.
we're also going to ask for reimbursement of the retail strategies from the state through the Board of Region Legislature, correct?
I keep a running list of requests, and that is on my list for requests for this fiscal year.
Okay. I would like for us to seriously start looking at McBride School updates. There's been a lot of good conversation going on with, moving
this department here, that department over there, trying to make the best use of the space that we have. So for the next agenda session, I would like to put it on the agenda to put half of the proceeds in the capital improvement fund and put the other half towards beginning, for us to at least begin the discussion of renovating McBride School. And if the majority is in agreement, let's go ahead and start doing something. It's been sitting over there empty now for what, 8 years, 9 years? It's my understanding that there's water problems, there's no sewer, there's sewer problems. Of course, we have the asbestos problem. Let's just go ahead and start doing something. That's number one. Number two, I would like to take, depending on how much of a surplus that we anticipate having, I would like to propose putting a portion of the surplus over into the capital improvement fund, a portion into the rainy day fund, and a portion allocating it to the McBride School renovation as well. I think we ought to just, like I said earlier, I think we ought to just go ahead and try to get something started.
We could, Mr. City Manager, we can certainly prepare resolutions or whatever we need to do to and allow council to decide how to do that. We could theoretically have those, I think, for the next meeting.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to do all of the renovations at one time. You know, we could, if we've got enough money to take care of the water and the sewer, let's take care of the water and the sewer. And then let's wait till we have enough money to go to the next project or, you know, apply for grants. But I just think it's important that we go ahead and start doing something with it. Last thing is the Board of Region update. The changes to the Board of Region legislation, it's going to calendar and rules next Tuesday, I believe. And it'll either go to the House floor the next Thursday morning or the following Monday evening session. So it looks like everything's going pretty well with that.
Very good. All right, thank you. The only things I have, I had a chance to attend the superintendent's banquet on Tuesday night down at the Chattanooga Convention Center. The top 10% of graduating seniors from East Ridge High School were there, along with the top 10% from every high school in the county. And it was a very good event. I had a chance to talk to a lot of those folks from East Ridge, and they're just fine young men and women, and you know, they're our future, and we're proud of them. And appreciate the opportunity to spend some time with them and to do that. Also want to echo what Mr. Sewell had said earlier about the improvements at Camp Jordan. They look very good. Landscaping that's been done there around the pavilion, and I know more will come. I think again, just good things happening all around. It's exciting to be a part of it. That's all I have, Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Vice Mayor, response. Luke Thompson Engineering did a review and a study of the McBride School, and we already have a study from that. I'm sure it's changed a little bit since they did it. I think the asbestos abatement was about $70,000.
Right.
You know, there's some figures out there that we already have that kind of give us a good leaping off point and prioritize, obviously. So we'll look deeper into that. Also, the gentleman came, the school teacher from the middle school last week, to talk about the house on South Terrace. We've been by there. That house has been foreclosed upon. It's been sold on the courthouse steps, but they have a year to the person was foreclosed has a year to come back and pay the taxes before it goes to the next buyer. And it will at one point default to the city and Hamilton County because they owe us taxes. So we really can't do a lot to it. We are putting on notice to clean up the property, and after we follow that notice, then we'll be able to go in and do some things. We have to do our due process and go with that. And Chief Williams' staff has already started that process. That's it.
All right, fantastic. With that, we will move on to old business. And item A before us for second and final readings, ordinance number 985.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, to amend Title 14, Chapter 2, Section 14-201, zoning ordinance number 481, Article 2, Section 101, general definitions, Article 5, Section 1103, uses permitted on review, Article 5, Section 1203, uses permitted on review, Article 5, Section 1403, uses permitted, Article 5, Section 1505, prohibited uses and structures, Article 5, Section 1605, prohibited uses, and Article 7, Section 114, alternative financial services relative to zoning regulations concerning alternative financial services establishments. Here on second and final reading.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Make a motion for it.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Griffin.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Manning.
Yes.
Councilmember Sewell.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes. Ordinance 985 is approved. Item B, discussion of the retail strategies agreement. Mr. Cagle asked for this to be placed on the agenda, so I will turn the floor over again.
I have, since the last meeting, I've done a little research on the computer. And I went back as far as 2007. And I still say, folks, that we have got people that's qualified inside our city to do this retail strategies. Our city manager back in either 2007 or 2008, he was a community redevelopment manager for a city down in Florida. Folks, if that don't qualify him to do this job, and then with Thad's experience, the statements he has made to the things here, where we've got people walking in here every week, chomping at the bits to be here, and Thad's listed as a consultant for us to, for people to come in and talk to him about where properties are and stuff. So, I'd still like to do this in-house. But then, I have reviewed these contracts. I've got one here that says drought, and I've got one that the city manager gave me that's highlighted in yellow, and I also called Howard and asked him what his opinion was. And then I've got a copy here of some stuff that he has scratched and added, and which is not in this city manager's copy that he gave me. So I'd just like to go over a few of these things and bring them to the attention of the council. Okay, first off, I'd like to go to the compensation. The council has changed it from the city manager's copy, changed it from $48,000 initially handed them to $50,000. And then the city attorney come back and he struck out some stuff here, and then at the bottom of it, he's added up to it, referring us back to section 13 of the original draft contract, which has termination involved in it. And the things that he has added to this thing, the shall consultant fail to remedy an alleged defect, and shall have to terminate this contract. And before I go any further, the defects are the deficiencies that we will be allowing this company to do. And it says right here that we're supposed to allow them up to 2 deficiencies a year. And then give them 30 days to retract those deficiencies. Folks, we don't even give our city employees 2 deficiencies. So, we sure don't give them 30 days to come back and ask forgiveness. So then, and then on down on the bottom, it says, within the time provided herein, following any termination hereafter, all fees paid for any term shall be prorated, and all unearned fees shall be immediately refunded to the client, which is us. Well, in the city's copy that the city manager gave me, does not have any of this included in it. And then we'll go over here to, get my little cheat sheet here. Item 11. Somebody help me with this word here. Indemnification. It's left from out of the cities. The thing the city manager gave me. And then city attorney, the original thing, it was a big long thing, and he struck out where we should defend them, but then left in the part where they should defend us. Well, that is not in the city's part that I was given a copy of. So we got a problem there with me. And look here. Then on the back of it, it says incentives. Last I heard, Thad was working on the city program. And when I was attending a meeting over here, Thad was attending a meeting over here with the IDB board. And if I'm not mistaken, the incentive thing we were working on got tabled that night. Did you ever have a finishing incentive program for them to offer for?
I have documents that are drafts, but given.
You haven't finished?
No, no, sir, that's.
So does the IDB board have a copy of these drafts?
That hasn't been presented to the IDB because of
Okay,
other
so
projects.
there's nothing in effect for the IDB board to be offered in city district, or for us to be offered in city.
Any business can ask for incentives.
If I may, yes, sir. I think we agree, we had copies of the incentives at the last meeting.
It's not being included in the week part, because I don't have.
It was right, we were right here.
No,
We were
sir.
right here. Yeah. Because they wanted a certain percentage of the net, of the gross sales tax.
I thought that was
Excuse me,
one that he's writing up
of
for
the
the
gross
future.
sales. They wanted a certain percentage of the
That
gross
was
sales.
option two, yeah, they had two options, either go by incentives or go by a flat.
Right, and we,
Thad finished that incentive program that he was writing up to hand to the
Two
IDB.
different
Well, I think he has two different definitions of incentives here.
That is
We're
what
talking,
I'm asking about.
the thing Thad was working on are incentives that we could offer to businesses. The thing that was in this contract were incentives that we would provide to retail strategies.
right.
So it's two totally different things.
Right. Yeah, we had a copy of that at the last meeting, and all of us, from my recollection, agreed that going to the incentive option was ridiculous, because they wanted a certain percentage of the gross sales.
We can
And
offer incentives to a private business, but not for them.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
we forego income, yeah.
right.
The private business is the incentive package that I'm asking about. Have you finished that?
I've got a draft.
Okay. Answer's no.
Well, I'm not sure what bearing that has on this contract. That's what I'm.
It is complete, but I've not presented it to
Right, you haven't
IDB
approved it yet.
because the attorney suggested to me.
Incentive
Mr. Mayor,
consultant fees add-on option.
Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind, let me, I'm going, do you mind if I interject here? Are you finished?
Go ahead.
Are you, no, are you finished?
No,
Well, I mean, are we gonna have a discussion, or are you, I mean, do
Go ahead and
you want
finish.
to provide more information, Mr. Cagle, or is it an opportunity to discuss? Basically, I need to know which direction we're going in
Mr. Gabbard, you said we all voted for that? I did not.
No,
I voted against.
we all voted not to do the incentives package that they proposed. We agreed to not accept that
I
incentive.
didn't think we got opportunity on
Let me see if I can cut to the chase.
Well,
Councilman Cagle.
Go ahead.
Permission. Let me tell you, I saw this contract after our meeting the last time. As I understood, the council's marching orders were to authorize the city manager to execute an acceptable contract with Retail Strategies. Okay, so I got the initial contract, I reviewed it. The initial contract for Retail Strategies provided for a 3-year term, a flat 3-year term, and a 1-year renewal term. So we were committed for 3 years, a total of $100,000, payable, what is that, 48,000, and then, 26. There was some back and forth. I negotiated, I prepared, as Councilman Cagle mentioned, I prepared a counter proposal to that contract. The main problem that I had, and the main problem that I continue to have with what I got back from Retail Strategies is, in this section 12, all fees paid for any term shall be deemed fully earned when paid and are not subject to refund following any termination hereunder. That means if we pay them the initial, and they've broken it down now, the first year we pay them $24,000 immediately. We pay them another $24,000 90 days after that. My concern is, and again, I don't make policy for y'all, I just try to represent you. My concern is that if they do nothing and breach this contract right out of the chute, y'all are out $24,000 or perhaps $48,000 that you don't get back once you pay. I'm not familiar with the concept of front-loading a contract that you can't get any reimbursement for if they breach the contract. The way the contract reads now, based upon my negotiation with them, it's for renewal terms, it's 1 year each. We can renew it after the first year, we can renew it or terminate it after the second year, and then the third year as well. If they breach the contract, we can terminate it at any time. Again, we don't get our money back that we've already paid them. But otherwise, if they don't breach the contract, we're locked in for at least 1 year, and we can jump off at any time at the end of that 1 year without renewing. So I've got a variety of questions and issues with it. The first paragraph talks about them keeping their commitments for the client, that's us, within 3 calendar years. Well, that, I don't know whether they're going to, and it's unfortunate no one's here to speak on their behalf, but if they're backloading all these things that they're supposed to be doing, they may say when we don't renew it in the first year, well, we don't really have anything for you because that really comes in year 2 and year 3. But the primary question that this council needs to give me guidance on in further negotiating this contract is, are you comfortable with a non-refundable payment of at least $24,000 at this time?
Well,
I disagree with the non-refundable payment statement, because this is, the city's not going to lose money on this. We are getting reimbursed from the Board of Regional Legislation.
may not, that's not for sure.
I think based upon the definition in the Board of Regional Legislation, it's an eligible cost.
It is an eligible cost.
I'm sorry.
And we got it.
Did you say, have you, it's the Board of Regional Legislation. It is very broad in terms of what is defined as an eligible cost.
Well, what I was talking about, through the Board of Regents, you said we give it back. All right, if the Board of Regents decide they don't want to give it back to us, anything we do, make it give it back.
That would be, that's a decision determined by the Revenue Commissioner.
That's determined by Commissioner Martin. But as the mayor said, the legislation is very broad on what we are eligible for reimbursement on. So,
Yeah, and ultimately, I understand there are theoretically some inherent risks in providing the payment upfront. At the same time, if they do nothing for us, they will be ruined. I mean, that will be a scar upon their reputation. That, I mean, you can't do that.
this company represents how many? 118 or 108, something like that, different municipalities. In my opinion, you don't get to that level of representing municipalities for retail development by taking the money and doing nothing. Word within the municipal arena would travel very quickly. All of the city officials attend, MTAS and TML functions all the time. if this company did not, and I'm not going to say that everything's going to turn out rosy with them, but if they just took the money and did nothing, it's just any other small business. Your name and your reputation is the only thing.
I think, and you bring up a good point too. I think TML would jump all over it in terms of saying, look, you know, one of our member cities got taken, and we recommend you not do business with this firm. I think they would jump all over
Now,
it.
and as far as the other thing, as far as letting Andrew and Mr. Jablonski handle this, their previous qualifications may have been in that realm of economic development. But right now, Mr. Hyatt's job is to run the day-to-day operations of the city. Mr. Jablonski's working on the budget. He's been working on the Board of Region legislation for months. How are these gentlemen, if they're going to focus on economic development, why don't we hire them to be the city manager and city treasurer? There's not enough hours in the day to do everything. And plus, this company has the contacts that I doubt if Mr. Hyatt, how long were you at Fairview?
4 years.
You've been there you've been here for 1.5 years. So you've been out of economic development for 5.5 to 6 years.
Close to 7.
The contact turnover in economic development turns over, okay? So you lose those contacts. So this company maintains a database of contacts. I don't think that Mr. Jablonski, I don't think either one of these two gentlemen have the time to do it because they're too busy doing the regular job. And I think if we just try to pile on more for them to do in the economic development realm, they're not going to have time to do their other jobs. And I don't think it would be fair to them. I really don't.
Well, I got one other thing about the contract, and I'll shut up. Conflict of interest. Here this company has, went up 11 miles of the highway, signed a contract with Collegedale for more money than we're going to pay them. Okay? So this is just throwing it out there. Don't nobody take this for heart, because we're not getting the Macy's. I'm just using their name. Say, these two girls, Macy's contacts them. Which one are they going to have at heart? We're just 11 miles apart, folks. They're on the freeway just like we are. Now, are they going to be pushing Collegedale, or are they going to be pushing the city of East Ridge to Macy's? Because we're both right on the freeway. Collegedale's got a lot going on up there in Newell, so.
Collegedale's not right on the freeway. Collegedale is off of the freeway, number one. Number two, and I'm assuming that you posted to the panel, so forgive me for jumping in, but I think that it would be subject to whatever the specific demographics that the retail company calls for. I don't think it would be really them pushing us or Collegedale. I think the company would give them some demographics and say, who do you represent that meet our needs as well? So, at least that's my opinion. I could be wrong.
Well, I'm
If I could,
myself.
Council Chair, you have 2 or 3 different versions of it. Each one was a revision. One was building on top of each other. We were going back and forth, and this most recent one is the one that they said, this is what we'll do, this is as far as we'll go, and they went pretty far for us. Whichever one, at this point, whichever one was highlighted, I don't know, I can't see which one you got, but you know, they did pretty far for us.
I worked with them on Easter, on Good Friday. I worked kind of back and forth with them all day, and the city manager off and on through the day, and that's kind of where we got, and it was a process. It was not a, here's what we have. It was a process. There were a lot of emails back up there.
Let me suggest a more realistic scenario. And again, I hope and pray that this outfit, if y'all approve this contract as written, doesn't just simply do nothing and we're out $48,000. But the more likely scenario is this, for example, they provided in here that this contract, they're to complete their commitments within 3 calendar years. Say we go the first year, we pay them $48,000, we're not enamored with them or vice versa, and we decide that we're not going to exercise our option for the second year. And we say, give us what you've done, give us these demographic studies and retail gap analyses and things like that. And they say, well, we really don't do that, but for the second, third years, we really get into, backload it or something like that. It could be that, for example, that scenario is we have paid $48,000 and we don't have much to show for it. That's a more logical scenario than it is than just doing nothing right out of the chute and taking our money.
We talked, I guess 2 days ago, they gave us an outline of the first 90 days. And by July 1st, the first meeting in July, they'll be here making a presentation of of their strategic plan for the city, outlining maps and things like that. So we'll have all of our documents at that point. So within that first, before we pay the second $24,000, we would have had everything that basically is the roadmap for the next 3 years. And we will have that in hand, all the marketing tools and all that information.
What I'd like to see them do then is put their money where their mouth is on this Exhibit A when they itemize what all they're going to do, give a timeline to that. If they're going to do a demographic study within 90 days, say that, make that part of the contract.
I do have that, and they sent that to me, I think, yesterday or the day before. I can't remember which day, but I do have that. So I failed to bring that in, but I do have that. It is outlined. It's very intense, actually. They're going to come meet, with us in the first 2 or 3 weeks and bring some things to the surface and do some things. So there will be there will be a product that we actually have by July 1st.
But is it time specific though? They're going to do this by this?
It's about every 2 weeks. It's a timeline. About every 2 weeks. There's
They put that in the contract.
They've given it to me, but I just didn't add it to this. I apologize for not bringing it tonight.
And they expedited it, if I'm not mistaken, due to the upcoming Recon convention, the major commercial real estate and development.
But it is convenient.
Yes.
Let me ask
Sure.
a question. So Chris, not trying to put you on the spot, but you are an attorney. If somebody brought this to you, would you sign it?
Would I commit myself?
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure that's a fair question, but I have some problems paying up for mine. I'm not familiar with the concept of paying in advance and not getting,
Well, I haven't-
unable to reimburse if they terminate, if they default on the contract.
Yeah, we did sign a contract a few months ago with Bass Pro Shop. The person gave them approximately $4 million before you got any product.
That's true, that's absolutely right.
So there's we set a precedence in the city for doing that. This is $48,000. I couldn't hire a person to do this for 1 year for $48,000. It can't be done. I think it's a great tool. I think it's a great item. I think it's something that's really going to change. We sit and I look at your faces and I see faces around these streets. Everything's going down to exit 1. These folks I've talked to, we're going to focus toward the tunnel. We're going to focus right around City Hall. There's some focus. There's some empty storefronts. Anybody owns a business in town that's got an empty storefront next to it. We're going to try to fill those up. We're going to try to fill up some of these empty lots. That's what they're going to do. They're going to help us do that. And frankly, just go up to the city of White House, Tennessee. That's the one I'm most familiar with near us. It's above Nashville. They have transformed that city with the contacts they've made. Macy's might be a little elaborate for them, but Hibbett Sporting Goods, things like that specifically would fit into the city of East Ridge. We're not Collegedale. There's no 2 things that are going to be alike at the Collegedale probably. And McDonald's and Hardee's and Crystal, that goes in every city. But when you're looking at some of the things that will go in cities our specific size, that's what they look at. They don't necessarily say, okay, what would we do? And you pick either Collegedale or East Ridge. They're not going to do that.
Well,
The company's going to do that.
Collegedale doesn't have a McDonald's or a Hardee's or a Wendy's or anything like that. That stuff is in Ooltewah. It's outside.
Collegedale do not.
It's outside the city limits of Collegedale. So,
That's reason they don't have McDonald's, that's what it means.
but okay. Now, if this company just brings in one business, it's worth it. Just one.
I mean, yeah.
Do y'all want to, do the citizens of East Ridge want to grow, or do you want to stay stagnant? And that's what I'm advocating here. I want the city to grow.
All right, do we want to give the citizens taxpayers money?
Well, let me ask you, Mr. Manning, it costs money to make money,
It
just like,
takes money to make money.
just like when you buy a car.
It's my time to interrupt you.
Just like when you
I
buy
don't think
a
we
car.
give the taxpayers money.
We will stop now.
We're going to hammer down, me.
Everyone, okay? We need to regain control here.
We got to
Okay?
go. We're just talking
Well,
about.
it didn't sound like it to me. So, we're gonna, I'm gonna slow down here. Yes, sir.
I'll say something, that's spoke yet. The only thing that really, I voted for this last time we called, the only thing that, you know, I would like to see what you've got. I want to see it before I vote, so, you know, if we got something different that's going in this, I want to vote something. And I'm concerned because attorney, we pay him good money. I've asked him twice, and he's given the answer twice, if he wasn't happy with that agreement. Is there any way that they would change on
I can't answer for them.
that?
We've asked a lot of questions, and this is
And I'm
really
not
important,
putting you on the
so.
spot. I mean, I'm just, you know, I don't ask you a lot, but that, you know, I've been concerned about it, and another thing that I was concerned about